Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, the Flashpoint, the Flash. This is a Target exclusive gold label figure. I ordered this off the Target app, and it finally arrived today. It looks to be an awesome Flash figure. It comes with an unmasked Barry Allen head, Cyborg's legs, collector's card, and a display stand. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse Gold Label Collection, DC Multiverse, The Flash, Collector Build Cyborg. This is the third of 4 figures you need to complete Cyborg. One side of the package, The Flash from Flashpoint. Other side simply says The Flash. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there's his barcode, in case it helps anybody. And at the back side, here's Cyborg. Here are the pieces you give Flash. Here's assembly instructions. And here's a checklist from the Flashpoint wave. We have Aquaman, Project Superman, The Flash, and then a mystery figure, which I'm pretty confident is going to be an armored Wonder Woman. So no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we have this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He comes with a display stand, a collector's card, Cyborg's 2 legs, and then an alternate masked head. No Speed Force effects, and that's fine by me, as I have plenty of those already. Now before we look at the accessories, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Flash from the Flashpoint comic. This is Barry Allen. In Flashpoint, he goes back in time and saves his mom from dying and ends up completely altering the future. It leads sort of into the New 52 in the DC universe. This is the third of 4 figures you're going to need to build Cyborg, but previously they gave us a Thomas Wayne Flashpoint figure. Now, this looks like a traditional standard classic Flash. I love that. It's on the body that was Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. It's also Dead Man. So let's take a look. So this is the unmasked Barry Allen head, and I must say it looks fantastic. I actually see Barry Allen here right off the pages of DC Comics. It looks fantastic. I've seen some people online also say this could make for a good Aquaman head, and we'll check that out later in the video. It would pop the head off, and then he has sort of his mask pulled down. You can see the little, I don't know, sort of arrows or lightning bolts on the side there. It's pretty cool. Pop the head off, you'll be able to take that off, and then put on the classic head. Very nicely done. The only thing that sort of bothers me about this body is the 2 of his 6-pack sort of just sticking out the front there. Very noticeable, very obvious. That's how I always know it's this body. Just looks a little weird how they did it on top of the cut, and then the rest of the abs below the cut. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, traditional classic Flash figure, yellow boots, little lightning bolts, totally red outfit, symbol on the chest. It just screams classic Barry Allen Flash, and I love it. It's awesome. And just a closer look at his face and head sculpt, and I'll tell you this unmasked head is fantastic. Did an excellent job with this. Sometimes they do a great job with the head sculpts, and sometimes just an awful job. And here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's the display stand. We've seen it a million times by McFarlane. It's a black perfect circle, very thin, very basic. I will say, some running hands would have been nice for this figure. Speed Force effects as well, but like I said, I've got plenty of those and can live without them. Also wanted to mention that I believe this is the absolute first McFarlane DC Multiverse figure that comes with 2 interchangeable heads. That is not McFarlane's normal style. Normally they do a regular version, gold label masked version, maybe a platinum chase version with a different head. There's another figure upcoming like this, and that's the Dark Knight trilogy. Joker is Bank Robber Thug. He has 2 heads. I hope this is something new McFarlane's going to be doing. As much as I love the variants, this is much easier and simpler. Normally, I would get 2 figures, 1 Flash to display as is, and then 1 for the extra unmasked head to make the civilian. But since I included both in 1 figure, I only had to buy the 1 Flash here. Now I have a civilian Barry Allen and a regular good-looking Flash. Now let's look at his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the Barry Allen Flash, the Flash from Flashpoint. On the back, there is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Now it's like a Cyborg's legs, and holy shit, they are huge. He's gonna be a big boy. Silver, sort of armored, metallic legs. Looks like a single jointed knee. Overall looks big, bulky, maybe even a little too big, but that has yet to be determined. So here are the pieces of Cyborg that came with both Aquaman and Project Superman. We have the torso, then the 2 arms. Now let's go ahead and add the legs. And here's Cyborg fully assembled, at least with what we have so far. I imagine Wonder Woman's going to come with his head, although personally I really wish he had an alternate regular hand so he didn't have that cannon all the time. But damn, this guy is tall. Just to put it in perspective for you, Cyborg is huge. He is a giant, and he doesn't even have his head attached. Now let's check out his heads. There are 3 pieces here, but only 2 distinct looks. We have the head with the mask on, and then the head without the mask on, and the mask draped around his neck. Here he is with the masked head. It is just a traditional Flash, and I love it. They make so many weird versions of the characters. It's nice and refreshing to get a traditional, regular-looking Flash. And here he is with his unmasked Barry Allen head, which looks absolutely fantastic. Job well done, McFarlane. Both the regular head, masked and unmasked, top notch. I saw somebody online say that it might make for a good Aquaman head, so I took this Justice League Endless Winter Aquaman, and I thought, let's do a head swap and see how that looks. Here's this Barry Allen head on the Aquaman body, and to tell you the truth, it looks great. It looks like a fantastic short-haired traditional Aquaman. So just one more option for this head if you get this figure. Now that they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing at about 7.1 inches tall, which can translate to about 18 centimeters. Now for his articulation. Start with his head here. Of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up about that far, down about that much. If you have him in a running pose, he can look forward pretty nicely. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes out more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all the good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint, which is kind of big, sort of loose. It's going to increase the range of motion there and then cover that large gap that you would see. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows that go all the way in. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. His torso, he's got ball joint here, rotate around, forward and back. Another one on his waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, very good range of motion in his torso area. I'd say you get a little more out of the torso than the waist on him. Legs, complete as splits. Not a ball joint, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation, minimal. They go forward, about that much. Back, not too much. Double jointed knees below that. That is ankle, forward and back. Rotation, tilt rock, and of course, toe articulation. Here's Flash running through the streets of Central City. A little bit more of a frontal look at Flash running. Here's a look at Barry Allen Flash, and then Barry Allen in civilian attire in the streets of Central City. One from each different multiverse. Here's the unmasked Barry Allen talking to the unmasked Thomas Wayne Batman in the Batcave. He's catching him up to speed on what he's done to mess up the multiverse. Now let's check him out. Next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Barry Allen Flash figures. Here's McFarlane's Flashpoint Flash, next to the DC Direct version of the Flashpoint Flash. Yes, I'm well aware that he's missing his right hand. It fell behind the bookshelf, and I haven't been motivated enough to take all my bookshelves apart and move them all. That being said, they're both pretty cool figures. I always found the DC Direct one a little disappointing. His articulation kind of sucks, but they're both a very basic looking Flash, and I appreciate that. You can see their boots, pretty much the same. Very straight line at the top, yellow, basic, plain detail. Double jointed knees on McFarlane, not DC Direct. Much more advanced style hips than the old school T-crotch of DC Direct. I'm not even going to talk about the hand. It's annoying. Eventually I'll get it out from where it fell. They both look good, but I'm going to have to give it up for McFarlane in every way, shape, and form. Articulation, scale, sculpt, paint. Everything is better on this guy, and he even looks better. Now let's check him out. Next to the other Barry Allen McFarlane Flash figures. Here he is, next to McFarlane's first Flash figure. This is a Rebirth Flash, and was probably the best Flash until now. The new one is a little bit smaller, but I'm going to have to say the new one is probably my favorite Flash they've made so far. Scale could be just a tiny bit taller, but it's a very regular Flash, and I appreciate that. And here he is, next to McFarlane's Injustice 2 Barry Allen Flash. Then, next to McFarlane's CW's TV show Arrowverse Grant Gustin Flash. And now, next to the Speed Metal version of Barry Allen. And here, next to the Page Puncher version of the Barry Allen Flash. Then, next to the Ezra Miller Barry Allen Flash from both Zack Snyder's Justice League and the recent Flash film. Here are all the different Barry Allen Flash figures McFarlane has made so far. Quite the collection. And here he is, next to a Noble Toys bendy figure of Barry Allen Flash. Then, next to all of my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Barry Allen figures. And now, next to all of my Mattel Barry Allen figures. And out of all of my Flash figures, one of my favorites is a Mattel DC Universe Classics Barry Allen Flash. These guys have the exact same costume, just a regular Barry Allen Flash, and I appreciate that. Here are all of my different 6 and 7 inch scale Barry Allen Flash figures, and there are a ton I'm missing. Now let's check them out, next to some other Flashpoint figures. Here are all the figures from the Target exclusive Flashpoint Collective Build Cyborg Wave, Aquaman, Project Superman, Flash, and then the majority of Cyborg. I'm pretty confident the last figure is going to be Wonder Woman, and that will complete our Cyborg figure, who is a beast. And although not part of this wave, McFarlane's Thomas Wayne Batman is part of their Flashpoint collection as well. And then here he is, next to DC Direct's Flashpoint collection. I've only have these 4 figures, but they also made a Cyborg figure, and I'm sure he's much smaller than McFarlane's version. Now let's check him out, next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here are all the different Barry Allen Flash figures McFarlane has made. And let's continue to check him out next to some other McFarlane Speedster characters. Here he is, next to all 3 versions of the Jay Garrick Flash. Then, next to all 3 versions of McFarlane's Wally West Flash. Then, next to the Wallace West Kid Flash. Here he is, next to McFarlane's Impulse. And here, next to both versions of McFarlane's Reverse Flash. Here he is, next to Godspeed. And here, next to the Dark Flash. Here are absolutely all of the speedsters McFarlane has made in their DC Multiverse line. The next one I can think of coming out on the leaked list is going to be, I believe, a 3-pack of Dark Flash figures. McFarlane has made 3 different scales of the Barry Allen Flash. The 7 inch scale, 4 inch scale, and 3 inch scale. Now this Flashpoint Flash here, he uses the same body that I've dubbed the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. It's actually a pretty nice basic all-purpose superhero body. The only thing noticeable is the 2 abs on the top. They stick out unless he's sort of crunched looking up. Beyond that, I really have no problem with the body, and reuse is fine by me as long as it makes sense. All 5 of these figures use that exact same body. Looks like it's going to be one of the more normal bodies they use. And the upcoming classic Riddler figure also uses that body. But honestly, I think all 5, and if you count Riddler, all 6 of the figures look damn good. Doesn't really bother me one bit. Now let's check him out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the Darknight's Metal, Alan Scott Dread Lantern. Now I'm not 100% sure where this guy's actually exclusive to. He's a gold label figure. I ordered him from a Canadian website. McFarlane said he's a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but he'll be offered somewhere else later. Just not sure where yet. Now let's check him out, next to some other Target exclusive gold label recent releases. We have the Flashpoint Aquaman, Project Superman, and Flash, the Sinestro Corpse Batman, the Jokerized Future State Batman, then Impulse and Deadman. And here he is, next to some recent Walmart exclusive gold label figures. We have the Vampire, Joker, Batman and Superman, Captain Atom, Eradicator, and Beast Boy. Then, next to the Goofy Head Sculpt Reaper of Superman vs. Ultraman 2-pack. And now, next to the most recent Batman wave, we have the Nightfall Batman, Batman Incorporated Batwing, and the Batman Reborn Two-Faces Batman. I'll tell you, this Flash and Batman look fantastic next to each other. Scale is perfect together. They're both in traditional 80s, 90s Flash and Batman looks. Love it. Here's the Flashpoint Flash, next to the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive black and white accent versions of Superman and Flash. And here he is, next to some recent gold label McFarlane Toy Store exclusive figures. We have Superman in his Unchained Armor, the Patina variant, Kyle Rayner as a Blue Lantern, and then Dick Grayson Robin. Then, next to the 5th wave of Page Punchers, this is a Batman-themed wave, fighting the Frozen. We have Batgirl, Batman, Mr. Freeze, and Robin. There's a Platinum Chase version of this Batgirl, and I'm on the hunt for a couple of those. And now, next to the entire wave of Flash movie figures, here's Flash, next to the Titans wave, collectible Beast Boy, and here he is, next to the two most recent McFarlane Mega figures, Fulcrum Abominus and Calabac, and here he is, next to the Arkham City Riddler and the Arkham Knight Earth 2 Batman skin, and finally, next to Shazam and Wonder Woman from Shazam Fury of the Gods. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, next to some more McFarlane Toys. These are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures. Here's the Flash, next to a bag of biscuits. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, standing with some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, next to some Mafex figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a fantastic Flash figure. He's just a normal, traditional, modern Flash from before the New 52. This is what he looked like. The unmasked head is phenomenal. It screams Barry Allen. The other accessories, pretty much non-existent. I just wish this guy was a tiny bit taller. It's like McFarlane has 3 different scales. Small, medium, and large. This guy probably falls in the medium category. But he's perfect with the Nightfall Batman and that sort of size of figures. It's just annoying that McFarlane has some figures that are giant and some that are small and some that are just right. I think this guy is in the just right category. 7.1 inches, that's the scale the entire line should be. Not 7.4 or 7.5 like some of these monstrosities they make. Well, getting a little off topic. Sculpt and paint job are excellent. I love that unmasked head. They did such a good job with it. If I were to rate this figure, man, it's a hard choice. I think I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. If he was just 0.1, maybe 0.2 inches taller, he'd be in line with the majority of McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. But honestly, I don't think this Flash is a problem. I think it's some of the other figures that have gotten bigger and bigger over time. They are the problem. Still, it's an excellent Flash figure and one step closer to building that Cyborg. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.